What's good, Lakers family, and welcome back to the Lakers Corner, where we talk all things Lakers. Today is Saturday, October 25th, and the Lakers just wrapped up opening week of the NBA season. We've seen two games so far. Opening night, we've seen the Lakers get belt to the ass by the Warriors, and then just last night have a big comeback game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And today, I got none other than my brother joining me, man. This is the person I'll talk with hoops with most. So for the first episode of the season, I wanted to, have my brother on, and we're gonna talk about the two games that we've seen so far and just some takeaways from that. And then we're also gonna get into, Marcus Smart, Deandre Ayton, JJ Redick, and just some of these newer additions that we have on the team. But Junior, what's up, bro? How you doing?
Man, I'm good. How are you, brother?
Doing good, bro. Doing good. Great Lakers win yesterday.
I know. I'm excited to be here to talk Lakers. It's a new season. We've been waiting a long time. Man, it felt like for some reason, this felt like the longest offseason in a minute. Like, since I remember, it just felt like a long offseason. Maybe I think it's because, early playoff exit last year. So just extended the summer a little bit. But it felt like a long offseason. I'm just happy to have some Lakers basketball back.
Yeah, no, for sure, exactly. Especially, you get Luca last season. You can't wait until this season and get a
I know. I
full
know. First
season
full
of him.
season. First full season with the Don.
Yeah, exactly, man, exactly. So, every week I will be bringing on like different guests though. So if you are out there and you do want to hop on the Lakers Corner, do hit me up on the social medias. Just make sure you come ready to talk basketball and back up what you got to say, because there's no walking the fence over here, man. But make
Don't
sure
walk
you
the fence
guys,
ever.
exactly, right, brother. But make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't already. But let's go ahead and just get into the episode. We got to start with opening night. We saw the Lakers lose to the Warriors 119-109. Junior, I'll let you go first. You want to talk about, just some of your takeaways from that game, or just kind of like wait what you saw?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the game started off. It was real back and forth for a while, until, or at least in the first half, we saw the Lakers actually go on a pretty good run towards the end of the first half, and then just like last year, that pesky third quarter that seems to be the Lakers' pitfall, and just that's where the game got away, and then it was just like the Lakers make a little bit after that. The Lakers make a little bit run to get closer. The Warriors pull away. They make a little bit run to get closer. The Warriors pull away, and it just seemed to be the theme there. We saw that way too much last season, and it wasn't great to see there. But I think that it's one game in 80 in 82. I think is just you have to take the lessons from it and keep it pushing. I wanna hear your thoughts on it, and then we can go into players specific, because I do have some comments on that as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, honestly, my first takeaway was just like we cannot be like this bad when LeBron doesn't play, because
Yeah.
LeBron's about to be 41 here in 2 months. He's gonna miss a handful of games this season, which is totally fine. I'm okay with that. Whatever you want to call it, whether it's load management, injury management, whatever it is. The man's about to be 41. And my thought was like, we cannot be this bad, because we were really bad that game. Like, to be honest, I was talking on the post game show, on the live stream that I do for the post game show, and I was saying like it looked like we didn't even play like in the off season together. It looked like that was the first game that they ever played together since being like on this roster. I mean, if you look at the box score, our Austin Reeves is our second highest scorer with 26. But like those numbers are lying to you. Like, if you would think, be like, oh, he had a good game. He had a terrible game, to be honest with you. He's extremely inconsistent. He had spurts when he went on scoring runs, but he also had spurts when he went on scoring droughts as well. And then as a team, like after Austin Reeves, it was DeAndre Ayton with 10 points. So we just, tremendously let Luca down.
No, I agree. I agree. And the thing about Austin Reeves is that it just seems to be a recurring theme with him. I feel like when we go Austin Reeves, it's either he's very hot or very cold. He's a streaky player, and what I'm looking for him more, I think this season more than ever, is just being able to see where we can get some consistency out of him. You and I talked after the game about where are we at with Austin Reeves this year? Do you think that he's the type of player that we entertain in trades? I know you brought up, that maybe his value isn't there in trades. And we can touch on that a little bit more if you like. But I think with Austin, like, this is a pretty defining year. I think now, a couple years ago, or I think two years ago, it was like, okay, still a young player in the league, learning his footing. And then he disappointed in the playoffs. And then last season, I think he took a good leap in the regular season last season, but then disappointed in the playoffs. So I think, like, now we've had enough of. I think we've given him enough rope at this point that we're like, all
Mhm.
right, Austin. Now we're gonna need to see some consistency out of you. We're gonna need to see Him solidify himself as what I want him to solidify himself as is the third best option in the league. And I know he's not there right now, and it's not an easy title even. I'd say, there's a couple of teams, with some triple threat teams. I think of Boston, obviously, when they have Tatum. But, I think there are teams with better third options, but I see no reason why Austin can't go take that crown, can't go be the best third option in the league. So this is a proven year for me for Austin. What do you think?
So I mean, on my end, like I said, like for the people that like tune in Lakers Corner a lot, they know that like the way I feel about it is just the fact that there's no trade I see out there, again, unless it's something that's unrealistic, that we're giving away Austin Reeves and we're actually getting better, to be honest with you. Like, I think the perfect player to put on this team would be like a Mikal Bridges, but there's nothing we can throw to the Knicks to be able to bring in a Mikal Bridges. So
and get better.
We'd
have to give up too much.
Exactly. We'd have to give up like Austin Reeves, Rui, some pig, or like whatever it is that we have left. We'd have to give up so much. So like that's more why I'm like on the not trade Reeves boat. And because I mean he kind of he took that pay cut that last time that it was up, and let's see, like now we have Luka. If we really put a serious chance to win, be like, hey, like if you take a pay cut, we can have a serious chance to win. So that's the only reason why I'm not really like big on like trying to trade Austin. I just don't see a viable trade. But if there is one, then I 100% would take it.
And I want to say too, like I'm not like after one game trade Austin Reeves, like not at all, right? Like I'm saying I want to see him make that growth. I don't want to trade Austin Reeves. I want Austin Reeves to fit this team so well, so we don't trade him, right? Yeah. But I think the thing is, I think this is going to be a defining year for him. And we talking about there isn't a realistic trade, but with the Lakers, there's always the unrealistic trades that circulate, right? And I think whoever, like the most tradable player on the roster that has the most value, or I say the most valuable tradable player on the roster is Austin Reeves. Because obviously you're not trading Luka, and LeBron, not trading LeBron either, but I do want to talk to you about that later in the episode. We're going to get into it a little bit more. But
we'll talk about that. But as far as the game, though, I mean, like, real sloppy, though. We had 19 turnovers.
Yeah.
And big
free throws.
Yeah, no, the free throws. But, like, the 19 turnovers, that made a big difference. And big shout out to cleaning the glass for this stat. But I seen on there, it said 20% of our possessions turned into turnovers. So that was, like, that's terrible.
That's one in every 5 possessions.
Right? And worst of all is that most of those turnovers were actually live ball turnovers. So that means that like the Warriors, they got out on a break on the other end versus like you'd much rather, I mean, you don't want to have any turnovers, but you much rather have a dead ball turnover to where the ball's just going out of bounds. All right, you get to get back on defense, you get to reset. But if you got a live ball turnover, like you just get ripped or you just lost the ball and it went to the other team, now you got a fast break. You're not even set on the defensive end. It was just like really sloppy, to be honest with you. And it wasn't just the offensive end. It was the defensive end too. And, to your point about that third quarter was terrible. We came into the third, we down by 1. It was 54-55. We left the third. It was 90-79. We let Luka down. And I mean, a masterclass performance, 43 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists, and we still lost by 10. Let's keep it pushing, though, because on this game, I do want to touch on Ayton just real quick because it's going to be a great transition point, but he didn't have the greatest game against the Warriors. 10 points, 6 rebounds. First of all, tell me what you thought about Ayton's performance.
Yeah, exactly what you said. Like, he didn't have a good game. He looked soft. He looked afraid to get into, I'm not going to say afraid, but he didn't look like he wanted to get into motions, into plays. Yeah. And I didn't like to see that. I expected him to just come out of the gate hungry. I feel like a player of his stature, he's number 1 overall pick, right? He's bounced around a little bit in Portland. I mean, he got bought out. How often do number 1 picks get bought out, right? That almost never happens. So I feel like he should have a chip on his shoulder, something to prove. And he's pairing himself now with, probably the best player you can pair with if you're a big man, right? Like this guy gave careers to Derek Lively, to so many players,
Kleber, so many players.
And then the same thing with, I'm not going to say LeBron gave AD a career because AD is a great player in his own, but like LeBron too, right? Like that's a player that they're two, Luka and LeBron are players that make other players better, but especially bigs. And I know LeBron wasn't playing, but still, like I feel like Ayton should be coming to the Lakers hungry to just really go get his bag, go prove himself right now more than ever, especially since, like you said, when we first got him, like this could be one of his last chance, if not his last chance, right? To really go prove himself, go get that bag, go get that contract, that multi-year contract, lock that down. So I thought we were just going to see DeAndre hungry out of the gate. I don't think I saw that. We'll talk more about him in Minnesota, but it wasn't a very, I'm not going to say it wasn't a very, it wasn't a game I was expecting from DeAndre
Yeah.
Ayton.
Yeah.
And I just want to say one thing too.
Mhm.
He had 2 free throw attempts that game. He went 0 for 2 from the line.
It's crazy.
I think he should be absolutely. I think he should be absolutely getting to the line as much as possible. If he's got 2 free throw attempts, that means he wasn't aggressive enough in the paint,
Exactly.
And I want to see a little bit more out of DeAndre Ayton. He left a lot to be desired there, and I think that he needs to be that third guy when LeBron is out, right?
Mhm.
And he wasn't that. I mean, he
Yeah.
technically was with 10 points, but he wasn't. That was which what I was looking for. So I wasn't very happy with his performance against the
Yeah.
Warriors.
No, honestly, I think what you meant about like Luka making a lot of bigs careers. Another big that I was blanking on is Daniel Gafford. Like Daniel
Yeah,
Gafford,
for
if
sure,
you think about it, Daniel Gafford, just like skill wise and talent wise, is not nearly as skilled or as talented as DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton is a much more talented basketball player than Daniel Gafford, but Daniel Gafford was a very good big when playing next to Luka, just because he was hungry. He crashed the boards, rolled hard, and dunked lobs. Like that's really all you got to do, and Luka will make you great. And for that reason, which is why I was not too concerned about DeAndre Ayton after game 1. To be honest with you, I was just like, okay, like the 6 rebounds, I would have loved to see a little bit more because you need to be able to grab a rebound regardless of whether Luka's on the court or not. Like you need to be able to grab a rebound and clean the glass for us.
That's the hole he needs to fill on the Lakers.
Right,
No?
exactly, right. But so that I was like, okay, I guess that's a bit like alarming. But I wasn't concerned about the 10 points because, like, honestly, bro, like I really believe Aiden is gonna average like 20 and like 12 this season, and I think 10 of those points are gonna come automatically off just playing next to Luka Doncic. Easy just lobs, right? Or easy just like I don't know if you saw last night when DeAndre Ayton and Luka ran a pick and roll. Aiden rolled to the hoop, and Luka, I mean, he had 49. The Wolves just went to go double him. Now, what is that?
Yeah, and he found him straight under. Yeah,
boom, easy dunk, right? So, like those will happen so often throughout the season. So, I think easily, like anywhere from 8 to 10 points, he should be getting off just simple rolling to the hoop and just getting open looks. The other 10 points, which would make it around like 20. I think those little middies, right? Like he's really good at that. That's something I'm really impressed in his game, and he really showed in the Minnesota game. So if you don't have nothing to say on the Warriors game, I think this is a perfect transition for us to get to the Minnesota game that we just seen last night. The Lakers beat the Timberwolves 128-110. And since we ended talking about Aiden, let's keep talking about Aiden here because he had a big game. I think he was one of the reasons that we were able to play the way we played, be aggressive. He had a good game, finished with 15 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 blocks. So for me, like even that's not all that I can see of him, but that's like all right. Like I see where the progression is. I see where the promise is.
For sure. No, I actually, it is a great transition because Ayton was actually, for everything that I felt a little disappointed from him in the first game. I think he turned that around, but I think he turned that around like actually towards the second half of the game. I'd say like second half of the second quarter on towards the end of the game. He actually didn't start the game very well, and I'm like, damn, like he had that game against the Warriors that I thought was a little suspect, right? And again, like the same thing we said with the Austin Reeves. I'm not like one game to get this guy off my team. Like I want a refund, right? Nothing like that, obviously. But just like, I expected there to be some growing and him to grow into his role on the Lakers. Like you said, the exact role that the Lakers need. That 20 and 12 guy, I expect him to grow into that. And he started the game not so hot. And I was like, damn, okay. Like, I think we're going to have to see him now grow into that a little bit more, get a little bit better. And that's exactly what he did. He grew into the game. So I thought that was awesome. I noticed like the way he was more aggressive, banging in the paint, finding himself open. And I think that just comes with time. Comes with time with playing with Luka, playing with guys that are going to get him open. That exact play that you were talking about, where they doubled Luka and he found him under the basket. It's actually funny while watching the game. I paused rewinded to show my wife that exact moment. I was like, this is what make Luka so good. Watch how they're going to double him. And to the last second, you don't know if he's going to shoot or pass. So he'll pull up here, and you still don't know what's going to happen. Then he'll just dish that off to Ayton. So he did that, and I think that we're going to see a lot of that. Ayton's going to find himself in these positions a lot more now, more than he ever has. He's never played with a point guard like Luka. No disrespect to Devin Booker, but he's just not Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
So it's just like he's not going to play with with a point guard like that, or Chris Paul either too.
Yeah.
I know Chris
But
Paul's
Chris
more
Paul
of a
made him. Chris Paul made him better. Really better.
He
so
did.
Can you imagine how much better Luka's going to make him?
No, for exactly like because with Chris Paul, like he's a fantastic one of the best point guards of all time. But more likely than not, he's dishing that off, right?
Yeah.
With Luka, it's like Jokic. You don't know if he's going to dish it, if he's going to shoot it, if he's going to drive, if he's going to step back. There's so many options for him to do, right? But not to get too far away from the tangent there. I thought Ayton was good. I think he grew into the game. He had obviously on point things. I think he said he was 15-8 this game, right?
Yeah.
So like that's just a much more solid performance. It's still not that 20-12 like you said, but it gets there a little bit more. And then on this one, he still only had 2 free throw attempts, so I still think he's leaving a little bit of aggression out there on the floor that he can be getting that and getting into the paint a little bit more. Like I said, I think this will come with time and drilling into it a little bit more. JJ even said at the end, I saw this clip. He was talking about reference points, right? So you need reference points. I don't know if you know what clip I'm talking about, but you need reference points to get into to start to go into a season, and you're like, you need to refer back to this, how you play there. And he said this was a good win against Minnesota, right? Team that's gone to the conference finals twice. Like that's the reference point that they need to be hammering until they, outperform themselves. So I like this performance from Ayton, and there's other guys too that I like that I want to talk about, but I want to throw it back to you now if you want to talk a little bit more about Ayton or talk about the game.
No, honestly, I was thinking about what you were mentioning with like the whole Chris Paul thing, because honestly, if you think about it, Ayton was on the Suns with D Book, and they were getting better. Chris Paul came to the Suns, and then that took Ayton's game to a whole nother level, and they ended up making that finals run. Granted, they didn't win the finals because they went against a great Giannis and Bucks team, but Chris Paul did still get him over that hump and get that team over that hump and improve DeAndre Ayton's game by running that pick and roll. So can you imagine just how much that Luka is going to improve his game? Because let's say, Luka gets him to the finals. I mean, if Chris Paul can get Ayton to the finals, Luka might be able to win him the finals. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
10 times the player that Chris Paul is. So now 100% agree. And then, early in the game, we had no ball movement. It was really bad. We were getting killed on rebound and second chance points. It was like 18-0 in the first.
The whole
half.
game we were getting killed second chance points. That shit was terrible.
But honestly, that's like how it was last season. Especially because Hayes couldn't play, so like we were even smaller than what we actually were. Like we had just DeAndre Ayton. We know he's not being very aggressive. But I think, in my opinion, where everything turned around in this game is when JJ got that tech. When JJ got the tech and then Marcus Smart checked in, everything changed. Like I feel like that tech was actually a smart one, because at the time when I was doing it on playback, I was like, no, JJ, you got to chill. But I think that a lot of times like coaches get techs on purpose to turn their team up
to put fire
and they're like, and then like it worked because then Marcus Smart came in. And when he came in, he applied so much defensive intensity that changed the game. And that defensive intensity was contagious, right? We were getting easy buckets. Like everybody was playing with that kind of energy. And we ended up taking the lead in that second quarter, went into halftime 68-63, never lost the lead after then. Yeah. And then to everyone's surprise, right? We usually suck in the third quarter. We had an amazing third quarter, and big shout out to Ayton, because I think that's when he was rolling really aggressively to the rim, opened up lanes for AR, opened up lanes for Luka. And to our original point, like this is the Ayton that we know, and I even think he could even be better than this. To be honest,
he grew into the game. He grew into the game and really was that. And I think what you said about that Marcus Smart substitution is dead on. I think that's exactly. I agree with you 100%. That's exactly the point where the momentum shift. And I actually transitions perfectly into talking about Marcus Smart. Like I really liked what I saw from him this game. Right, we had our doubts because he's a defensive player of the year. But he's coming off surgery. Just coming out, and that was also, when did he win Depoy? 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
It's been a little bit, right? So like, he's coming off surgery. He's like, it wasn't like Marcus Smart is a scrub, but it wasn't also like Marcus Smart is a Defensive Player of the Year candidate this year, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think we had to see it was a little bit of a mixed bag, and there will be flashes. There will be times where he's not going to have great games. There's times where he's going to be a catalyst like he was today. I think he was there. He was diving for loose balls. He was putting defensive pressure. He got into some foul trouble too, and it was good to see how he managed that. And he managed it well. I think he went from like 2 to 4 fouls in a matter of like a minute or something. He picked up 2 quick ones, and like 2 fouls and 4 fouls is like a very different game you could play, right? 2 fouls, you still have 4 in the bag. 4 fouls, you only got 2 left, right? So it's just like it's a very different game you can play, but he managed it well, and especially like a defensive-minded guard can very easily get into foul trouble, very easily, right? And I think that he managed it well and was able to, like you said, he was that catalyst. He was the catalyst for the Lakers delivering towards the end of the second half, and then into the third quarter, and eventually securing the win with. I think we had like 4 minutes of garbage time in the fourth, right? So like securing the win with some decent time on the clock. So exactly. that was good. And real quick about JJ's tech, did you read his lips after he got the tech and they missed the free throw?
Oh, he said like ball don't lie, or what?
Ball doesn't fucking lie. Like you could just tell he's just like fired up. Yeah. So it was just that's classic JJ. But I was I like what I saw from Marcus Smart on this game, and Ayton as well going into the game.
Okay, absolutely. And don't want to forget, because I think Vando needs some love, and I think Rui needs some love for this Timberwolves game too, because Rui was horrendous in game 1, had like 9 points. It was terrible. This game 2 was very efficient, 50% from the 3-point line, 23 points, and 76% from the field. He went 10 of 13. He only missed 3 shots from the field, and only missed 2 shots from the 3-point line. So he was aggressive. You love to see it. And then Vando, I mean, the numbers won't jump out at you. 2 points.
They never do for Vando, but his contribution is all eye test. You see on the court.
Plus minus, plus 12, 7 rebounds, and the defensive intensity.
Contagious. And played some center minutes for us too. Played some center minutes. Like he was good. And honestly, with Rui, so on the broadcast, Dwayne Wade was commentating that game, and he said that with LeBron out, he thinks Rui should be averaging 22 points a game, right? Yeah, which I think is a steep ask for someone like Rui, but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. Like I think Rui can average 22 points a game, and man, please, like I'd sign me up for that any day of the week, right? And just like Austin too, we talk about hot and cold players. Like Rui's a very hot and cold player, right? Absolutely. So today, like I said, he didn't miss 3 shots, or he missed 3 shots this game against the Wolves. Against the Warriors, I think he scored 3 shots, right? So it's just like he's a very, very hot and cold player. So it's it's good to see him have a hot game. Even Austin, before we go too far from that too, how you said. The first game against the Warriors, he had 26 points, and it wasn't a good game. I think this game against the Wolves, he actually had 25 points and played a better game, right? And it's 1 point. But still, it's not all in the points. It's about what you do with it. He had 11 assists, too, which was great. Austin getting the helpers, and then we haven't even talked about Luka's damn near 50 piece, man.
That's
I can't believe he missed that free throw, man. Like
that's crazy. Honestly, if I'm him, I'm like JJ, you just let me finish.
You just gotta let me in. I know.
But also at the same time on playback, I was like, bro, take him out.
Yeah, for sure. You think about anytime I see a player like this, I think to exactly. I think to myself like, man. Just get out there and get 50, but then like, bro, imagine if something happened, like knock on wood, God willing not, but you never know. Sometimes like you can't play to go get 50 points. You got to go play to get the win, and that's all that matters. And it's like, just give him a chance. You gave him a chance. He just missed his free throw. You know what I mean?
He gave him a chance. And
you saw it was. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say big shout out to my homie Unwanted. He's in he be in the playback chat with us.
Yeah.
Unwanted. He said he was talking about the fact that like, don't worry, Luka will have many other chances this year to get 50. I'm like,
I just wanted him to notch at like 50-point games as a Laker. You know what I mean? Like, but because that was his career high with the Lakers was 45 before, so he still got a career high. But you want to see because then at the end they're gonna count like when it's all said and done, he retires. Like, how many 50-point games did he have? Right? And it's just like there's one less. But we shouldn't care. Luka doesn't care probably. You know what I mean? Like, I think the thing that matters is getting the win. And JJ gave him the chance. He had him out there with Bronny, with Dawson Connect, all these players come in. Yeah, gave him a chance. He missed his free throw. What can you do? But I like what I saw from him. I don't want to spend too much time, but Gabe Vincent, wasn't even showing out, making a lot of. I think he only had like 5 points this game, but he was hitting his shots when needed, and and I can appreciate that.
Mm,
And I wanted
okay.
to ask you a little bit about Jake LaRavia. What your thoughts were
Mhm.
on Jake
That's
LaRavia so far these two
perfect
games?
transition. That's a perfect
Okay,
transition.
yeah, we're
Let's
on
get
that
into
wavelength.
let's get into some of the new additions. Let's start with Jake. That's a perfect one. So you want me to kick it off, or you want
Yeah,
to keep
go
going?
ahead, go ahead.
Honestly, I don't understand why we brought him on this team, except that's Austin Reeves' boy. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I didn't know
Like
they were boys.
they're
That's
boys, like
funny.
they're boys, like
Okay.
they're really cool. They're boys. They knew each other since college, and Austin Reeves was like working out with him, and then literally like a week later, he was signed to the Lakers, right? So
Yeah. Okay.
I don't see no reason, and I don't even see like a glimpse, to be honest with you. Like I understand that he's a good shooter. We've seen him that in the past, but I haven't seen that yet. To be honest with you, he's not. It doesn't look like he's that great shooting catch and shoot. Doesn't look like he's that great shooting off the dribble. He doesn't really create for others. Doesn't really create for himself. Like I'm not seeing the vision. Again, 2 games into the season, extremely early, but I'm not seeing the
Yeah.
vision. But the reason why I say I'm not seeing the vision is because Marcus Smart, 2 games into the season, I see the vision. Deandre Ayton, 2 games into the season, I see the vision. Right. So, like, even if it's like, let me just see like a spurt of your greatness, or your spurt of like, oh, okay, I see why we brought you in. Oh, we could use you here. Oh, we could use you here. No, I don't see where we can use him anywhere, to be honest with you, as of these first 2 games.
So I agree. I don't think he's been an impress. He had an impressive 2 games. I think with him, it's a little bit difficult because he's not going to get a lot of opportunities, right? Especially when Luka's putting up 43 points, 49 points, right? Like, and then after that, you got after Luka gets his touches, Austin Reeves is going to get his touches. Then Luka actually talked about this in the post game. You want to get your big men involved, right?
Right.
And they're always great players talked about that. Steve Nash brought that up as well. Like you want to get your big men involved. Dwayne Wade said the same thing. When he was playing with Shaq with Miami, he would always look to get Shaq involved, right? So then Deandre Ayton's going to get his touches, right? So everybody, so you got to go, and then Rui is going to get his touches, right? So then like it gets down until you get to Jake LaRavia. So I'm not going to be so harsh on him from the beginning yet. I still think it's 2 games in. He's got some time to growth. I think, and I don't watch as many Kings games. I mean,
Mhm.
like where he was playing last season. I think the most Kings games that I watch is when they play the Lakers, right?
Mhm.
So like obviously there's going to be you could probably correct me if I'm wrong, but I
Yeah.
think the idea behind bringing him in was because we lost Dorian Finney-Smith, and I think he's supposed to be playing that role. What we're gonna try to do is try to mold him into that 3-and-D player the Lakers desperately need, because I think losing Dorian Finney-Smith was a tough blow. I think
Yeah.
that's a player that I didn't want to lose, but I also understand one, Dorian Finney-Smith is 32 years old, right? So like that's not old, but in sports terms and athlete terms, like when he's 34, 35, a player
Right.
like what he does, a defensive player, right? Defense is all about shifting, agility, breaks, right? And like
Yeah.
all these things, as you get older, they start to deteriorate. So I think Jake LaRavia was brought in for that purpose. Jake LaRavia is 6'7". He's 23 years old. And he's got the body to be a defensive player. How good of a defender he is, what he's done on the Kings, I could let you speak on that a little bit more. But I think that was the point of bringing Jake LaRavia in. It's for that 3-and-D guy. He's not as good as Dorian Finney-Smith was, but he's younger. He's got that upside to play that role for us, and he's cheaper. So it's 2 things: younger than Doe, cheaper than Doe, and gonna fill a hole that Doe left. And I think that's kind of the reason I think that the Lakers brought him in. But I don't think you're going to see a lot of his contributions on offense. I think it's going to be like, because even with Doe, sometimes like I think Doe had a lot of games where he wouldn't even crack, more than, I don't know what his averages were last year, but he wasn't cracking like more than 10 points very often, right? It was
Mhm.
his contributions. He would get hot. Sometimes he'd have 25 points in a game and he would get hot, but it wasn't always. We had him for that defensive contribution. Think Jared Vanderbilt, right? I don't expect Jared Vanderbilt to score more than like 4 points a game, right?
Yeah.
An open breakaway, a layup that somebody finds for him, but it's the defensive contribution, and I think that's the role that we have for Jake LaRavia on this team to grow into there. But
Yeah.
like I said,
And I understand like the idea of bringing him in, but I mean like from what we've seen, I haven't seen that. Like I haven't seen the elite on ball defense, to be
Yeah,
honest with you.
for
And
sure, for
and
sure.
and I know that he's like growing into it, but my thing is like I feel like especially in the NBA, it's really hard to be a good on ball defender without being athletic. I'll be honest with you. Like you can
You don't think he's athletic?
I don't think he's super athletic. I don't think he's athletic to be keeping up with backcourt players that are he's going to be need to be guarding.
But
To be
like
honest with you.
Anthony Edwards type players, or like players that like because Anthony Edwards isn't the norm. Like
Yeah,
not a lot
no.
of guys can keep up with Ant,
I mean,
regardless.
yeah, no, nobody keep up with Ant, but I'm just saying is like I don't know. I don't even think I think he's less athletic than Dorian Finney-Smith at at
Even now at
at
32
32.
versus 23.
From what I was seeing from Dorian Finney-Smith, and again, Jake is
Yeah,
23.
that
Like
was nice.
I'm 26. Like I can only imagine me 3 years ago now put me on the Lakers and say go do something. Like
Yeah,
I feel him. Like I feel him, but I'm
yeah,
just saying, as in a sense of like I don't know. I don't know. It's just a question mark for me. I like
for
I said,
sure.
I don't want to do
I
too
think
much,
that's
but
fair.
just question mark because I hear okay, we're supposed to be bringing him for on ball defense. Okay, well I haven't seen too many on ball defenders in the league that are not very athletic. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I think I agree. I think it's a question mark. I think the jury's still out, but I
Mhm.
think that goes both ways, right? Not going to be, damn, Jake LaRavia was a signing of the season, and we
Yeah.
don't know what we got cooking, or like he's complete garbage. Get him off my team, right? I think like let's see how it develops. I think this time, like I think everybody that doesn't get as many minutes is going to benefit from LeBron being out in the terms of they're going to get minutes,
Yeah.
right? Like not benefit from the team's not going to be better, obviously,
Yeah.
but it hurts the team. But these individual players, this is their chance to go earn those minutes. And I think like there's a spot there. Jake LaRavia has been getting decent amount of minutes. I got to see how many minutes he played.
He played
He
like
played 27
27.
minutes.
Yeah.
He played 27 minutes. Like I think if he doesn't show, those minutes are going to start like not just start dwindling, but I think they're going to get spread. I mean, we talk a lot. This was a big topic last season. Is Dalton Connect?
Mhm.
Is he going to get more minutes? Is he going to get more playing time? Is he going to, he's such an enigma sometimes. Like
Mhm.
he can get hot sometimes and just be like, oh, he's a great player. And sometimes he's just complete garbage. He doesn't have like the defense. And I know we talked about that before. Like the
Yeah.
defense is lacking with him a little bit, a lot of it. But I think that's 27 minutes is a lot. Is a lot. So it's just like, is it going to get 13? Is it going to get cut down where he's getting 13 and Dalton's getting 14, 50
Yeah.
50? Or is it something like, maybe he gets cut down or Dalton gets all those minutes? Does somebody else step up?
Yeah.
Maybe Jerry Vanderbilt gets more minutes. It's tough to say. I mean, he played more than Marcus Smart did, which I don't. Jake LaRavia did, which I don't think
Yeah.
should be happening. I don't think will moving forward. But it's going to be interesting to see how that all pans out.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Just something for us to note. Okay, so we kind of already touched on Aiden and Marcus Smart, but if you want to like add anything to it, because like honestly, my like we really touched on it. Like I know the type of player I expect Aiden to be. I just think
Yeah,
that was the first just a bad game from him, to be honest with you. We
yeah,
all had bad games.
and there will be
Uh
more.
and like yeah, exactly. And like I mentioned, like I'm loving some of the intangibles I'm seeing from him. And what I personally want is I just want him to keep a balanced attack of pick and roll and rolling all the way to the rim, providing that lob threat and also pick and popping and shooting that little midi that he's been doing because he's been doing a pretty good job of that. And I don't want to just take that away from him because that's
Yeah,
been his game since Phoenix. So like
yeah.
that's my biggest takeaway
And that's
from that
exactly what
game.
you need from a big too.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they go out and shoot threes, but then not everybody gets to be Victor Wembanyama. But that's exactly what you want from a big. Because because if he can't shoot, they're just gonna seal the paint, right? They're
Yeah.
just gonna seal the paint, force him to get his free throws,
Yeah.
which is 1 for 4 in the season, right? So not off to a great start, averaging 25% from the line. But if you can offer that, at least that dual threat where he can be in the paint or he can be in the mid range, then you can at least keep defenders guessing. So I agree. I like DeAndre Ayton. I like what I saw from him on that second half of the Wolves game. And I think it's just progress. I think the more time he spends with Luka, the better he's going to get, and that goes for everybody. The better the team will be. It's about continuity, right? I love that
Absolutely.
we kept the same core. It's something that I talk about a lot. Like when we with the Lakers, it was like I feel like every year we had a new team. We win the title, completely changed the team up. Then in
Yeah.
2021, completely changed the team up, and it's just like we didn't have that continuity. It was just LeBron and AD were the only two players that didn't change, right?
Yeah.
And now even that's changed with AD gone. So like now, like I like that we were able to keep a decent chunk of the core, keep some continuity going. which is another reason why I didn't like losing Dorian Finney-Smith, but also for the money he got paid and for his age overall. I think
He was good too.
you gotta live with it. You gotta live with it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Gotta take
So,
the
and I
good
think
with
the
the
Lakers are trying to keep a lot of cap space open for some unrealistic trades,
bad.
because if we
That's
would
real.
have told you 3 or 4 years ago that Luka was going to be a Laker, they probably would have just laughed at us.
Laughed
So
at us, right? So Giannis is gonna be a
here
Laker.
we are.
But anyway, okay. And Marcus Smart. I do want to touch on Marcus Smart a little bit. We already touched on him a lot, but
Yeah.
the only thing I really want to add is like I think he has to start. Like this has to happen. I'll be honest. Like he has to start if we want to be competitive. If we want to be a successful team, he's going to have to start. We cannot keep going with this 3-guard lineup, which is honestly, it hurt my heart when I saw it because I was like, damn, JJ, like you literally were just on a podcast with LeBron last year criticizing 3-guard lineups. Like he was literally on Mind the Game criticizing 3-guard lineups, and now he ran a 3-guard lineup. Granted, I know LeBron is hurt. So
yeah, right. I think
makes a
that's what
big
adds the
difference.
caveat to everything.
But still, though, you can still just replace Gabe for Marcus Smart. You know what I'm saying? Or I mean, my thing is replace Austin Reeves for Marcus Smart, bring Austin Reeves off the bench. But that's a whole nother situation. But just for right now, Marcus Smart, like, where are you with that? Because I mean, we touched on him as a player, but do you think he also needs to start?
I agree. I would be starting Marcus Smart over Gabe Vincent. I think the thing is probably not doing that to have him come off the bench and be with that second unit. But I agree. I think that it should be Marcus Smart starting in that starting five without LeBron playing. Undoubtedly, it has to be Marcus Smart starting. Like I agree. You take out Gabe, you have Marcus Smart starting. He's going to guard the best guard on the other team. Luka's still, the de facto point guard. And I think Marcus Smart's probably going to play the 1, and Luka's going to play the 2. But it's still Luka with the ball handling duties.
Exactly.
And I'd love to see him, basically have Marcus Smart for that because he's going to play that Avery Bradley role. And I think that's the thing that, like, not to go too far into a tangent, but if you remember during the 2020 season where the Lakers won,
he didn't come.
I'm sorry?
He didn't come to the bubble.
No, he didn't come to the bubble, but he was a very good defensive presence for the Lakers during the season. And I think that's one thing that people just gloss over because everybody wants to go discredit the Lakers title. It's the same BS as always, right? Yeah. But like if you actually look at what the Lakers have to go through, losing their starting point guard that actually was such a defensive presence, exactly the on-ball guard defender that the Lakers needed, was such a detriment.
Yeah.
Like it just hampered the team so much. But I think Marcus Smart is there now to play that role, that I want to say the Avery Bradley role, which is really the Marcus Smart role from his past, but it's to play that defensive guard role. And so I agree. I think Marcus Smart should be starting. I think when LeBron comes back, it's a little bit of a different conversation. I think it is Marcus Smart who gets dropped from that lineup because
wow.
I agree with what you're saying with Austin, that it could be Austin and it should be Austin. And I think there's even some scenarios where it does make sense to bring Austin off the bench, kind of like how we touched when we were talking the other day about D'Angelo Russell. When he started coming off the bench last season, how much better his game was and how much better it was for the Lakers. He's playing against second unit players, stuff like that. I think it's a little bit of a tougher sell to bring Austin Reeves off the bench. It's the Lakers. It's going to generate a lot of media. Why is Austin Reeves a bench player? Is he going to they're going to start getting in his ear, go get a trade, go somewhere where they're going to start you and all this stuff. So I think there needs to be the player management aspect of it now, right? Like how good of a coach is JJ Redick when it comes to player management? Because X's and O's is one thing. And I think we can both agree that JJ Redick is a pretty smart X's and O's guy. He even was as a player, right? But player management is a whole other topic of coaching that doesn't often get talked about. But like, can you sit down with your players and have this conversation? Like, I need you to come off the bench. This is what's best for the team, and I need you to understand that. And I need you to play to your best potential in that role, right?
Yeah.
Can you do that? Let's see. He did it with D'Angelo Russell, but D'Angelo Russell was a little bit different, right?
Yeah.
He was there was way too much overlap with what Austin Reeves was doing. Way too much, right?
Yeah.
And with Austin, like there is a lot of overlap with what Luka does, but I feel like Austin in his game can also be a spot up guy. I don't think that's where he's best used, but I think he can do that. Yeah, and I think bringing him off the bench would be better for his game, but I don't know if he's ready to accept that role. So I don't think we're going to see that happening at least anytime soon. I mean, my only thing is
yes, it won't be better for his career because like when you get into like the nitty and gritty and like money that if you get titled a starter in the league or you get titled a bench player in the league, like the money is different. The money is different.
Yeah, for sure.
So if the money is an issue here, then it might be tough for Austin. But my thing is, it's just gonna be better for our team to bring Smart in the starting lineup because then you look, Luka lost 31 pounds, but Luka Doncic is not about to be a great defensive player still. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, look, I can see he's lighter on his feet, but he's just like, it's not one off season is not enough for you to go from a defensive liability to where in the finals they were hunting you to where now you're we're asking you to defend backcourt defender guards in this league. So which is why I think bringing Marcus Smart in, relieves pressure off Luka, and then also allows AR to come in and be in his best. Because if Luka and AR are on the court, the ball better be in Luka's hands every single time. Yeah. And AR could be spotting up to your point, but then you're like, I'm not using him to his best value. So even if I wanted to get a trade out of him, like I'm not even showing other teams what he really can do, because what he really can do is when he has the ball in his hands and he play makes and he is decision making, right? Like that's when he's at his best. So that's when he'll get not only his trade value up, right, but also it'll help our team because it'll really help the bench unit and the bench scoring. So to wrap it up, honestly, for me, brother, like I would go to starting lineup and let's say Bron, is healthy, because I'm looking for when Bron is healthy, right? Like these times matter, but what really matters is when Bron gets healthy and how do we really look then, because that's what the team that's gonna be competing for trying to get a title. My starting lineup will be Luka, Smart, Bron, Rui, and Ayton.
Okay, I was wondering who that fifth guy would be, right? Like, so you have Rui as that fifth guy.
Yeah, I have Rui for sure.
We have there. Yeah, I like it. I think that's a good lineup. To be honest, I agree with you. I think that is the best version of the Lakers. And like how we said, bringing when it's crunch time, I still want Austin Reeves on the court, right? So maybe he doesn't start, but he closes games. These critical games.
James Harden was back in the day, like played more minutes than Thabo Sefolosha, but
Thabo was a starter.
Yeah, right? Thabo was a starter. But in this case, I do want to add, I think it will be case by case basis, because if we're playing an extremely good offensive team that got two really good backcourt guards, then I would actually rather have Smart out there for the moment. But if we need buckets, we're gonna need to go AR.
But in closing situations, a lot of times you get the chance to go on defense, you call a timeout, you bring in your offensive players. When there's a foul, you make the substitution. But you could also get caught with your pants down. It varies for sure. So no, I like it. I think that's a good mix there.
Okay, all right, man, Junior. You want to add something?
I do. Oh, I wanted to ask you something. I haven't actually asked you this off camera, so it's a little bit hard. I'm not saying this is the right move, but I just want to test the waters here and get your thoughts. So, LeBron James, he's only getting older. We're talking about tradable pieces. We said, there is no way. I think Luka's untouchable and LeBron's untouchable to a degree as well, right? But it being the last season of his contract, him getting older, like he's not getting better. He's still very fucking good, right? But he's not getting better. He's not improving. He's only getting older. And the Lakers have a hole there in that big. Like I think even though we brought in DeAndre Ayton to fill this void, I still think with DeAndre, there's he's gonna clean up, fill some of these holes that the Lakers have at the big. But when he's not on the court, we're back to Jackson Hayes, right? Who is
a good backup.
Inconsistent. I sometimes he wasn't good at all against the Warriors, I thought, right? And I think that there's a hole there for the Lakers, and I think a good solid, if we could get a very good big, it changes the dynamic, especially having Luka. And I wanted to ask, if it takes trading LeBron to get a premier big, are you not like Victor Wembanyama? I'm not talking about that. The example that comes to mind for me is Jared Allen. And the reason why I think about Jared Allen is because a couple of reasons. One, Does LeBron go back to Cleveland to retire? Which I actually called this a long time ago. I
For sure.
actually think at some point LeBron's going to go back to Cleveland, even if he signs like a 10-day contract to
Yeah.
retire there, just because, that's his team. He's from Ohio. That LeBron is like, I mean, LeBron's synonymous with, I feel like, with the Cavaliers at least in some degree, even
Yeah.
though I think he'll have spent more time with the Lakers. No, not yet, because he had 2 stints
Yeah.
in Cleveland, right? But he's got more titles with the Heat, a lot of time with the Lakers. He's not so, but I still think LeBron. I think the Cavaliers, right? Maybe just because that's what we grew up watching. But his first stint, by the way, put some respect on our name. We've been watching for a while. Anyway, LeBron, if he is the piece that needs to be traded to get a quality big, and again, I threw out a name like Jared
Mm.
Allen. Are you doing that? Are
I'm
you
doing it.
doing that? Are
I'm
you?
doing it, but I'm just gonna be honest. That's not happening. There's no team in the NBA that is gonna take on LeBron James and give away somebody.
So I think that
LeBron goes to the Cavs, but LeBron goes to the Cavs on some like just signing there or
as a free agent. So I've heard. I'm not so in tune with Cavs world and everything, so you probably have better connections than I do. You can verify this. Me, I got that Palinka line dialed straight on my phone, but not the Dan. I don't know. Is it Dan Gilbert still on that team? I don't even know.
Honestly.
But screw that guy. He actually got in the way of the CP3 trade to the Lakers. But that's another story for another day. I've heard that Cleveland is looking to move off of some money because Evan Mobley's the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have a lot of big contracts that they're looking to move off of. So if it's got to be something like this where it makes sense, right? Like they're looking to move off of some money. LeBron's like, you know what? I'll resign there, whatever. Maybe he wants to the same deal that Kevin Durant did for the Warriors when he went to the Nets. You remember, like he could have walked away for free. Yeah. But he did a sign and trade so they could get something in return. Like if at the very least LeBron does that, he signs with the intention that he's going to be traded. Exactly what KD did, basically, just to not leave the Warriors empty-handed, right? Like if it's something like that, and a team like the Cavaliers are motivated to go get somebody like Jared Allen, get rid of somebody like would you make that move? And it sounds like you would then.
I would, but I just don't see too many of those. Because honestly, yeah, the Cavs are trying to get off money, but there's no way I think that they're getting rid of Evan Mobley and Jared Allen because those are two like twin towers. Like
I think they keep Evan Mobley. I know,
but I think for sure. But I think that that's part of what makes them so good is they have that twin tower lineup because Evan can come out and J.A. stays in. But no, I mean, look, if it's there, I'm taking it for sure because I'm a Lakers fan before a LeBron guy. But
yeah,
but I don't know. I just realistically, I just don't see it to be real cheap. But I also didn't see Luka coming to the Lakers. So
yeah, nobody did. Well, we did. We saw the vision years ago with the photoshops. So they can laugh when we Photoshop Wembanyama in the Lakers uniform. Laugh, it's okay.
It'll happen.
No, for sure. I wanted to give you that because that's the thought that crossed my mind. I know Cleveland's trying to move off of money. I have a feeling LeBron's going to go back to Cleveland at least to retire there at some point, right? It depends. I don't know if he's waiting for his other son to come into the league, and then maybe go play with him. Who knows? But I was just thinking, if it was a move, I think it has to be a very specific move.
Yeah.
For us, I think it has to be for a big. Like I wouldn't trade him for another guard. I mean, unless something generational that isn't going to happen, like
Yeah.
But I don't think that's like there's any guard like that that's available right now. But I think a big like I said, because we talked about Daniel Gafford and we talked about Derek Lively, like they're guys that are good, but Luka just takes them such another level, that I think to myself like, who knows? Maybe that makes sense. Maybe they give up on the process in Philadelphia. Who knows? Even though
I don't want Embiid. Please don't.
I know. But it's an injury-prone player. But what I'm saying is like I feel like there's more bigs out there that isn't realistic. Like I said, like Wembanyama, not realistic, right? But like Jared Allen, unlikely, possible.
Yeah.
Embiid, feel what you feel about him, right? Yeah. Unlikely, but more likely today than it was 5 years ago, right? Yeah, like 5 years ago it would be a non-starter, right? So stuff like that. That's kind of more what I'm saying. Like I feel like there are bigs, and I don't think it needs to be like a like I said, it doesn't need to be Wembanyama for it to be a good big to pair with Luke because Luke can just make so many bigs good.
Yeah, no,
So
100%. No,
wanted to get your
yeah.
thoughts.
No, I
I
hear
like,
you.
and I like that I got to get your raw take too. Didn't get to ask you this off camera, none of that, you know.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I mean, hey, if it's there, we'll take it. But I don't know. I don't know how many people are trying to trade for a 41-year-old.
Hey, you know when he came to the Lakers, what was he 35 when he came to the Lakers? Like
But he
end
was
of
still,
career. No, I know, but a lot of the people were like,
yeah,
"This is an end of career move." Remember, he was just
yeah,
going there to make movies, like
yeah.
all this stuff, right? And I mean, he's balling still, right? Even today. So it's just like he's just in an unprecedented territory. I'm at this point with LeBron now where I'll believe he's bad once I see him bad.
Yeah,
Like he's not slowing down. He's slowing down. He's slowing down because his peak with Miami, right? Like
mhm,
it was crazy. Even his second stint. I mean, his peak. I feel like his peak has just been so long, right?
yeah,
But like he's slowing down for sure. Even with the Lakers, right? This isn't the best version of LeBron, but like until thanks to Solomon Hill. But I don't even think I don't he's not bad yet. Like he might be 41, but I don't even look at that anymore. I look
yeah.
what is his on-court product, and his on-court product is still good.
Nah, for sure. But when I say that, I mean like another team that's getting ready to invest into him. They are going to look at his age, right? Because like his age,
Yeah.
like because for sure, I think he will retire and still be a good player. I think, to be honest with you,
Oh, for yeah,
I think
yeah,
he'll retire and still be a
yeah.
good player. So
Like when
his
Michael Jordan gave Michael Kidd
encore,
Gilchrist buckets.
like encore production, he'll still be doing it. But I think he won't. But the team will look at him like, oh my goodness, like he's probably 41, he's 42, like
Yeah, yeah.
so I
But
don't know. That's what I'm like.
I feel like a team also has to look at that for sure, but they got to also look at what is he still producing on the court? What is he? Are they going to count on LeBron? They're going to count on a 41, 42-year-old LeBron to be the primary option every night and have him,
Mhm.
carry, the entire load? Because yeah, maybe that doesn't make sense. But another thing is marketability. Like,
Mm. That
what
makes
is this
sense.
guy going to bring into the team money wise? Because that's like that's a big thing. Like in soccer, this happens a lot more. Like they'll bring in players just for marketability.
Yeah.
There's actually a big case about this, and I won't even go on for too long. But Real Madrid, big
Mhm.
team in Spain, they brought in Chicharito when he was at he's like Mexican icon, right?
Mhm.
And like the amount of jerseys, of Chicharito jerseys that they sold to the Mexican crowd, like
Crazy.
damn near paid his transfer fee, right? So it's just even if he wasn't a great player at Real Madrid, so it's stuff like that. You think about the marketability aspect of it, and it's that's I think with a player like LeBron, it's just a factor you got to consider. It's a
That's
factor you
real.
got to consider. It's the same thing we say when players come to the Lakers. Like Austin Reeves is out here doing ads and commercials. Austin Reeves plays on the Charlotte Hornets. He's not getting a single commercial. You're probably gonna have to
Yeah.
pay to be on camera, right? So
Right.
like it's that it does not disrespect to Austin Reeves. That's just a market.
Yeah.
So it's the same deal. Like LeBron is going to be marketable anywhere, right? So
Facts. No,
so
I hear you. I hear you. No, that's facts, man.
it'd be interesting to see.
Be
Even
interesting.
Boston, they hate him in Boston, right? From his Miami days, from his Cleveland days, from his Laker days, they hate him in Boston. But if for some weird, turn of events he ends up on Boston, they're snapping that up. They're
Mm,
snapping that up, right?
nah.
So it's just curious to see, testing the waters on that. But we'll see. I don't want to jump. I'm not saying please
Mhm.
don't nobody take this out of context and be like, I want to trade LeBron. This
Yeah.
isn't there. But for the right trade, like I think the only player that's untouchable is Luca, and that's because he's very good right now and is the future, right?
Yeah. No,
So
I feel you. No, I feel you. I hear you on that. Man, this is a good place for us to go ahead and start wrapping it up, man. Lakers family, I appreciate everybody that stay tuned with us. That this wraps up our our week one review. Jenner, appreciate you coming on
no,
here.
thank you for having me on. It was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to next time. I know the Lakers Corner is such a popular demand, man, that I know you're already booked out for the
Yeah,
next like
I'm
two
on.
months.
Yeah.
But at the next opportunity, count me in because
Yes.
I love chopping it up with you always.
Mhm.
More than basketball, life,
Oh yeah.
in general. But coming on here, getting into the platform, talk about something we both love so much, like the Lakers, man. It's one of a kind. It means a lot.
Yes, sir, brother. You already know. So yeah, and family out there, make sure you guys smash that subscribe button, drop a comment, let us know about how y'all feel about all of this thing, whether it's LeBron, whether it's the starting lineup, JJ, Ayton. But I appreciate everybody being out here, man. And stay tuned. We'll have more content coming here. We got our post game live shows I do after every game, 3-minute game recaps. So you can see on the shorts tab, and then as always, we'll have our weekly shows. But for now, we're out of here, y'all. Peace.
Peace.